Welcome to our Amud Yom Shir. We are following the Dirshu cycle. Today is Sunday and it's Daf Chaf Gimel Amud Aleph. Let's just start from literally a few words in Chav Beis Amud Beis in the very bottom of the page. Yeah. But before we begin, we have to know that we are kind of in the middle of a sugya, not a hard one. The question that we saw in yesterday's Amud is when we light Hanukkah candles, what is the main mitzvah? Is the mitzvah to light the Hanukkah candles, as we always know and assume, or is the mitzvah to place a lit candle? Which means, of course, there's a mitzvah to light the Hanukkah candles, even according to this tzad. So it's mashma from Rashi, if you saw it well yesterday. But maybe there's a tzad to say that the main part is the hanocho. To take a lit candle and place it outside, you have to advertise. Is it creating the advertisement or is it placing it? In the words of the Gemara, do we say hadloko is a mitzvah or hanocho is a mitzvah? That's a question. While saying this, of course we know that hanocho is, even if you say hanocho is a mitzvah, then still hadloko is a part of the mitzvah, but maybe placing it is also the major part. So now the Gemara started off by saying Toshma Adom Rabbi Shua ben Levi, and this is what we're going to see now is a statement by Rabbi Shua ben Levi to try and prove one way or the other. It says over here, Ashoshis shoyes to delekes v'leches kol hayoim kuloi. Ashoshi says Rashi is a lantern. It's a large, very large, you see it in Sephardi shuls, very large container full of oil, and it was lit the entire day from Friday till Motzei Shabbos. According to Rashi, it was made for mitzvah Chanukah on Erev Shabbos. Yeah, you have basically a very large menorah, Chanukiah, from Friday, and it still goes on for Motzei Shabbos. So we all know that something has to be done. I have to be madlik again. What would I do? Well, I would extinguish and light again. There's enough oil for tonight. There was enough oil for Friday night, not for Motzei Shabbos, for another Chanukah candle. And what do we say? Let's light again. But apparently, the Brisa says otherwise. It says, Ashoshis Shoto, or the Rabbi Shua ben Levi, Ashoshis Shoto, Delekes V'leches Koloi Kuloi. The entire Shabbos, he was lit and going strong, on. And yet, what do we say? Motzei Shabbos, Mechaba Umadlika. As we said, turn it off, and what? Light it again with a new bracha for the new night. The Gemara is now proving the point. If you say that hadloko is the only mitzvah, very good. All you have to do is light. The mitzvah is lighting. I don't care that it was placed and it was there. All you need to do, off and on again. But if you say that the mitzvah, that again, I repeat, a major part of the mitzvah is to place the candle, then that's not enough. Why? It should have done I mechabe umadlika. Is that enough to just extinguish, off, and then on again? What about the placing? It should have been mechabe umagbia umanicha umadlika mibaile. Some say the other version. You have to be magbia. Some say madlika or magbia madlika magbia. Take it off wherever it is, maybe 3 tefachim, lift it, light it, and then place it again. Because if he's saying that the placing is a mitzvah, right, then you have to place the lechoved, the new thing. Yeah, lechoved, the new night, because he's saying the hanocha is a mitzvah. Tosfos asks the question that lemaisa, the fact that it's munach in the right place should be enough, even if that tzad. That's what Tosfos says. Tosfos argues with Rashi, and Tosfos says that this wasn't lit for Chanukah, it was lit for Shabbos, and that's why here you need an extra hanocha for Chanukah, not just for the new night. Otherwise, it's enough to have the same menorah every night and just relight it. But this was for Shabbos, according to Tosfos, machlokes with Rashi. That's why you have to lift it to undo the Shabbos hanocha, and a new hanocha l'koved Chanukah, and then light it, or light it. Then be maniach the different Gerson Rishonim. But in any event, one thing is clear. We don't seem to care about it at all. Whatever it's Chanukah or Shabbos, yeah, all you do is out, yeah, extinguish, yeah, just turn it off and light again. So why is that enough? You see, hanocha doesn't play a role whatsoever. And another proof, the oid, yes, you see, hanocha is not the one. Look at the text of the bracha. The bracha is lahadlik ner shel Chanukah, not lahaniach, or liyos lahovi. It doesn't say, it says lahadlik. Shema min hadloko is a mitzvah, shema mino. Must be that the hadloko is the mitzvah. Hanocha is not a mitzvah, only the hadloko is the mitzvah. Right? It is true what we said before, that you have to make sure the candle is there before you light it, so people don't bring a lit candle from the inside into the outside. So people shouldn't think you lit it for yourself. But really, the lighting itself is the only mitzvah. Hanocha is not a mitzvah at all. That's what the bracha is, lahadlik and not lahaniach. Only the hadloko. So I don't care if it was munach for Shabbos for another reason, as long as I make the bracha shakidshonu, turn it off. It was there, extinguish. It was there for another reason. Make a bracha and light for Hanukkah. That's all you need to do, because hadloko is the only mitzvah. Hanocha is a technical thing. Now continues the Gemara into a nafkamina. Let's see a nafkamina from that. The hashtadamina. Now that we have established hadloko is a mitzvah, now that we say that hadloko is what does the mitzvah. If so, hadlik acheres shoyte v'koten lo osav lo klum. Let's say the person who lit the Hanukkah candle was one of the three people who are not mentally able. A person who's cheresh, doesn't communicate with the world. A shoyte, a person who's mentally ill or completely, a special thing. Or koton, a minor, lo osav lo klum. What do you mean hashta? In the Havamina, I would say let them light, make them feel good, and I will do the anocha. You understand? That's a chiddush. Hashta, yeah, I would have thought let the cotton light it wherever, and I'll be maniach, because maybe the anocha is a mitzvah. I'm the gadol, I'm the good guy. Kamash no, he can't do anything at all because the cheresh, if he lights it, it's garnished, right? Now, Isha. Once we spoke about different people regarding Chanukah, let us now explore what happens with women. Isha vadei madlika. A woman is chayv badloko. Domo b'shul ben Levi noshim chayovas ben Chanukah shaf en hoy boisanes. That's very interesting. Women are chayv ben Chanukah. Why? It's mitzvah setzer shazman groma. Yeah, and we learn from Tefillin Maseches Kiddushin Daf Chavtes. The women are not chayv to do mitzvah shazman groma. So why are they chayv in Chanukah? Because they too were in the same nes. They too are in the nes of Chanukah. Now, this Gemara appears in three places in Shas, in Megillah, somewhere at the beginning, in Psachim, Kufches, Amud Beis, and there also it says about Dalet Koises, about Megillah, and here about Chanukah, Afenu B'Sones. I want to show you something really, really nice in Rashi here. Rashi, such a king. Look at Rashi. Rashi says, Hoy B'Sones, the second line, Shegozru Yevonim al Kol Besulos Anisois Liboy Latafsor Tchila. They had gzer, the Yevonim, they had gzer on all the Bsulos to first have relations with a army person, with a head person. And the miracle was done by a woman, by Yehudis. What's Rashi saying? Two things. First of all, he said that they were at risk. They were those who were saved because they had their own trouble. Secondly, the woman created the nes. Really, Rashi is hinting here, I think, the Machloikes, Rashbam and Tosfos in Psochim and in other places. There it's a Machloikes. What's Afenu B'Sones? According to one opinion, we say they were saved from the nes. In Mitzrayim, they were also in trouble, right? So they also owe Hakara Setov to Hashem. They're chayiv in the mitzvah of Dalet Koises. And the other pshat, it's a Machloikes there in the Rishonim, is women created the nes. B'schus Noshim Tzidkonis Negulam Mitzrayim. Same thing with Purim. Women were in trouble, and a woman, Esther, did the nes. There it's a Machloikes. Here Rashi combines both of them. He says all women were supposed to be nival to the tafsar. They were in troubles particularly, and the woman created the name. So Rashi is really joining both opinions together without saying it. That's the goodness of Rashi. Everything is in Rashi. So Lamaisa, women are chai because they were in Doisa Nes. And Lamaisa, the meaning of my family, from my father and before, is that girls also are madlik. Not only the woman we say ishta kegufo, my wife or my mother never lit, my wife never lights, but the girls, some people are not, but they're also poskim the bedat. The girls light, the non-married girls, because they're separate, they're not part of the father. They have a different pinhogim. Amar Sheshes. Now, when we talk about people lighting, let's talk about other types of people. That's a huge sugi and halacha, but here it's only a few lines. A guest, first of all, the chiddush is of Sheshes, a guest is chai b'ner Chanukah. Why? The chiddush is, what's ner Chanukah? We said a few days ago, Ishu Beisoy. Ishu Beisoy, it's a mitzvah on the family, on the house. Ishu Beisoy, there should be light from one house. Mikra din, one light for the whole family. So maybe a guest is not chayiv. If I'm a guest in your house and I sleep over in your house, I don't have a personal chiyuv mezuzah. It's your chiyuv. The chiddush is b'chlal that even though I'm not at home and the home is not mine, my house is empty. I'm a guest by you. Maybe I don't have b'chlal a chiyuv. Kamash malan, there is a chiyuv because the chiyuv is not just in the house; it's also in each and every person. It's expressed by the one family, and maybe the Achsinois, we'll see later, can join them. But Betzin has a chiyuv. He's not exempt just because he's not a homeowner right now. That's first. Now let's build on top of that. Omar Bzeira, Meresh at the beginning, meaning before I was married, when I was a bocher, when I was a yeshiva bocher, says Reb Zera, Ki avina beirav, when I was beirav, I was a yeshiva bocher, and I used to sleep by people, like in Europe, they used to, be hosted by people. Ki avina beirav, when I was by yeshiva, mishtatafna bepriti be'adu ishpiza. I knew they had the chiyuv, but what could I do? I didn't have to have my own menorah, and that's halacha today. There's all shad if he has his own room, doesn't have his own room. Let's say sleeps in the salon. I don't know. I'm not getting into questions now. So all I need to do was mishtatif bepriti. I would pay a pruta. I would pay a little bit of money to the homeowner, to the baal habais. I'd be mishtatif in the oil that way. Lamaisi, you don't even have to do that. Even if you do hagubah to the oil, it's enough. As far as I know, it's not halacha shir, but as far as I know, that's halacha. You do a kinyan. I'm mishtatif with money or with a kinyan in an air, and he gives me matana, some of the oil, but matana, I have shutfus in an air, and that's how I is against mekayim the mitzvah. That was when he was a bocher, carefree bocher. Basar the nesivi itza. Once I married a wife, it became actually easier for me. Sometimes, even as a married man, he would go and sleep away, in different places in Chanukah. Amina, I said to myself, wait a minute. Now for sure, I don't have to light. The kamadliki alai begoy beisoi. Halacha is, if I know my wife lights for me, as much as the wife doesn't light, she doesn't light because the husband lights, and ishta kegufoi. She is like secondary to him, she is with him. If he's not home and he's a guest, now he's less central in his own house. So now her lighting in their home, she stayed home. She stayed home with the kinderlach. He went to Rosh Hashanah, to Chanukah, to Uman, whatever, He went for Chanukah, wherever, to the Rebbe, to the Rosh Hashiva. Then Mimela, she lights for him and she's moitzi him. Because his house has an air. And now here is not mechuyev mikra into light. The truth is to say you have to try and do both ends of the stick, but this is mikra adin. That would work for somebody who, again, for the millionth and a half time, it's not a halacha shir, no, you can have it out of your ear, this is not a halacha shir thing. If somebody's in an airplane, lefi many shittas, he has nowhere to light, he has no way to express the chiyuv, he has no window even, it doesn't have his own place to call it a Pesach or Bais. I'm talking about the kind of planes I fly. I don't fly business class. You don't have your own thing, and therefore, you're not mekayim the mitzvah. So have your wife lights for you at home. I don't know about time differences. I'm just saying there is a musag of a wife lighting on your behalf in your house. Amar b'Shuvan Levi. Now we're back to talking about. We will still talk about Chanukah. Now we have a bit of a break to talk about again Chanukah, but mitzad the oils again. Back to the oils. Amar b'Shuvan Levi. Kol hashmanim kulan yofin lener. All the oils are good for candle, and that candle we talk about is the ner of Chanukah. The shemen zayis min hamuvchar. But the best oil for ner Chanukah is shemen zayis. Let's refresh our memories. Remember what we said at the beginning of the sugya? We said there were three opinions. The third opinion was the winner, was the opinion of Rav. And he said on Chanukah, me'ikar din, you can use any oil, even the bad oils, even the oils that are not so good. Why? Because kov so ein zokuklo. If it goes out, you don't have to relight it. So if it goes out, nishke ferelech. And on Shabbos, we don't have a concern. You're not going to tilt it because you don't use it. You're not allowed to use the Chanukah candle. However, shemen zayis is min hamuvchar. So now, before we continue, you have to know that there are three factors in an oil. All three are going to come to play here. First of all, some oils, and I saw it myself when I light the Shabbos candles, but my wife lights, I prepare. Some oils that last longer than others. Yes, some even olive oil. Some of them, you put the same amount. Some of them stay till 7 o'clock in the morning, and some of them till 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how, but that's reality by me. I see it. I wake up early sometimes. And so there's amount of time. The other factor is how clear is the flame. Yes. And the third one is what we spoke in the Mishnah, how wick friendly are they? How much do they get absorbed nicely into the psila? It's a different thing. One of them is time, how clear, and how well do they light without flickering? How steady are they? That's the other thing. So now let's see. Here we say that shemen zayis is the best. What does it mean? Continues the Gemara. Omar Abaye. Abaye says, Mereish, at the beginning, early in life, have a mehader mar. Mar, usually when Abaye talks about mar, it's one of his rabbein. Yeah, usually it's Rabbah. Yeah. Rabbah, what would he do? He would dafka look for a mashcha de sumsami. He would look dafka for shemen of sumsum, the sesame oil. You know why? Omar, hi moshech noret fei. Because this one, moshach is nimshach. What's nimshach? It stays longer. Yeah. In other words, it just, it sticks for a longer time. Yeah, it lights longer than others, more time. So that's the best. I want Hanukkah candles to light till 12 o'clock at night, till everyone comes back from wherever. Once he heard the statement of Bishub and Levi, which we just saw now, he changed his mind, changed his minhag, and Dafka went to look for Shem and Zais. Why? Because the light is brighter and clearer. In other words, the light from the Shem and Zais is clearer, brighter, nicer, and that overrides the amount of time. I'm preferring having less time. Of course, you have to have enough time, but a bit less time, but nicer oil, nicer flame, than more time with the sesame, but not such nice flame. Where is the third factor? That's all. Says Tosfos. This is true regarding Neres Chanukah. But when it comes to Neres Shabbos, says Tosfos, Diba Maschal Mereish, you can look. Tosfos says, no question, Shabbos Shem and Zais is the best. Not even a question. Why? Because in Shabbos, the most important thing is not to be Mechal on Shabbos. The Shabbos, the most important thing is to have a steady flame that doesn't flicker. And for that, for sure, Shem and Zais is the best. There was no question. Only by Chanukah, when I don't care that it flickers, then I have two other factors: time, long time, or clarity, or clear and nice and bright. Clear and bright is better than long time. That's what we're paskening now. Continues the Gemara of Omer B'Shub and Levi. Now we're veering a little bit more tangential, and now we're talking about creating diyoi, creating ink. Omer B'Shub and Levi. Kol hashmanim yofin lidiyoi. All shmanim are good for diyoi. V'shemin zais min amuvchar. Now we have to see Rashi. Let's see Rashi inside. It's not long. It's a little bit technical, but it's really very, very easy. Rashi dibra maschi legabel. I know I'm jumping the gun a little bit. It's the fourth narrow line. When you go to the narrow lines, Rashi explains how did they produce ink in the olden days. Says Rashi, how they create ink in the olden days? They would take like a plate or any kind of vase or something. You would take some kind of vessel made out of zchuchis, which is glass, and they would then burn something with shem and zais underneath, and then the smoke would come up, and then you have like soot gathering on the glass, like the black dust, the goyrer shachuris. Then you scrape off that black layer that was created there. The noisen, now you have this like blackish powder. The noisen by shemen kima, you mix it a little bit with oil. Megabel boy, you mix it. Umiabshoy bechama. Then you dry it in the sun. And that you basically again dilute it into another component of diyoi. Interesting. So really, in this process, oil is used twice. First of all, the oil, you let the flame go up with the oil and create that black layer, the black dust, the black powder, and then again you mix it again with oil the second time. And that exactly is the question. When you say you want to know how to make a good diyoi for the Sefer Torah, Tefillin, Mezuzos, right? So now we say, the Shemen Zais is the best one of all of them. But now the question comes, legabel or le'ashen? When you said Shemen Zais is the best for diyoi manufacturing, do you mean legabel for the mixture, the second stage, or le'ashen for the smoking, the first stage? Either this or that. Which one did you mean? Toshma, the Tani Rav Shmuel Bar Zutri, kol hashmanim yofin lediyoi. All shmanim are good for diyoi. They're all good for that. All oils are good. Shemen Zais min amuvchar ben legabel ben le'ashen. Shemen Zais is good for both mixing and for smoking, for both purposes. Both stages, Shemen Zais is the best. Rav Shmuel Bar Zutra matni hachi. Rav Shmuel Bar Zutra, he taught the brisa a bit differently, and he said, "Kol ha'ashanim yofin l'diyoi," all the smokes. He is talking about the smoke, not about the mixture, about the first stage, the smoking. They're all good for diyoi v'shemen zayis min hamuvchar. The best smoke producer that would make you the best suit, the best ashes, whatever, is dafka the shemen zayis. Not necessarily for mixing, he doesn't say. Amar Avuna, kol esrofin yofin l'diyoi. Israf kataf yofim mikulam. Oh, he says kol asrofin yofin l'diyoi, which means all this saraf. Saraf is also something that would mix with the diyoi. That saraf in English, it's what's between the three, the sap, S-A-P. The sap, all saps, because they also would mix sap with the diyoi. All of them are good. One saraf is called kataf, and that's the nicest one. I don't know what kataf is, and I do know that Rashi calls it prunil. I don't know, maybe prune. I don't know, something like that. Okay, saraf kataf is the best one to use for the oil. Back to Hanukkah. Okay, back to Hanukkah. Amar B'chia Barashi. Now, what about the hadlokas? There's the brochas you make. You make brochas in Hanukkah. Amar B'chia Barashi Amar Rab. Amadlik ner shel Hanukkah tzorich levorech. It's a chiddush that you have to make a brocha upon lighting the ner's Hanukkah. Why? The chiddush. We did it when we were 0 years old. The chiddush is that it's a mitzvah d'Rabbanan. We're going to discuss why is mitzvah d'Rabbanan requiring a brocha. Yes, imagine it's going to be a discussion. Rav Yirmiyah adds that a person who sees the Chanukah candles, he too has to make a bracha. So now, although the Gemara doesn't go into details, but Rashi does, and Rashi says something interesting. We can see Rashi again if you want. Yeah, Rashi here says Haroye. Look at Rashi Haroye. A few lines were left off. Ha'over bashuk. The person's going in the street, passing down the market. And he sees a light, Hanukkah candle lit. He has to make a bracha. How many times a day? Million? No. Matzatzi b'shem Rabbeinu Yitzchak ben Yehuda Shomer b'shem Rabbeinu Yaakov. Lo huzke kabrocha zu el al misholik bebeisoi adain. Whoever did not light in his house yet, right? The Mordechai says, whoever didn't light and is not going to light. Oh, he's the one who has to make the bracha of she'osa nisim la'avoseinu. He makes the bracha of she'osa nisim. He's not lighting. He's thanking Hashem for the nes. Oy lo yoshev b'sfina. Somebody's sitting in a boat. Let me explain. Let's say a person knows that he's not about to light Hanukkah candles tonight at all. His wife is about to give birth. He's not going to light. She's not going to light. And the baby's not going to light. Yeah, that's it. Nobody will light for him the whole night. And as he's rushing to hospital, b'shot toiva, he sees Hanukkah candles. He will not light tonight. They told him it will be a very hard birth, and right after birth, he's flying to Chutzlar. I don't know. No way. So then what? Then he should make the bracha of Shos Nisim, because it's not about lehadlik. Shos Nisim, we all say it, but it's not about lehadlik, about lighting. It's about enjoying the fact that we had a nes by looking at the candles. The bracha of Shos Nisim is for somebody who sees the candles. That's Shos Nisim. If you know you're going to light 12 o'clock at night, then don't make the bracha, because you'll make it on your candles. But if you don't, if you're not going to light tonight, then enochinami, then make Shos Nisim on the Re'iyah. So now, Amar Yehuda, Yom Rishon, on the first day of Chanukah, Aroi Mevarech Shtayim, whoever sees the candles makes two brachas. Which two brachas? Shos Nisim, and what else? Shechianu. It's the first night. Umadlik Mevarech Sholosh. The one who lights says a third bracha, which is really the first. Lehadlik Neshel Chanukah. Lehadlik, he lights on the hadloko. Mikan va'ilach, from the second day onwards, we take off, we diminish one bracha. Madlik Mevarech Shtayim. The Roy Mevarech Achas. The one who lights, only makes two brachas. The one who sees the light makes one bracha. In other words, there's one bracha we took away. From the second night, we all know what this bracha is, right? But the Gemara has this question. Which bracha of the three do you remove from the second night onwards? Zman. What's Zman? Shechianu. You don't make Shechianu. And we all say, of course, Shechianu is always in the first time. Of course, the second night, we don't make Shechianu anymore. Surprise, the Gemara has a question. The Gemara is not so simple about that. Frag the Gemara, v'nimot neis. Benimot nes, maybe really the bracha we should take away, we should remove is the nes. I have it written here, my agoist, I don't remember b'shem who. The question may be, it's mashma a little bit from Rashi, maybe shechayonu we should say all the time. Why? Because maybe shechayonu is on a bracha, on a mitzvah. Every time it's a new mitzvah. Ashkenazim, what do we do on Megillah? Day and night, we make shechayonu both days. Yeah? Both night to day, it's a new mitzvah. So maybe you should make shechayonu on every night, because it's a new mitzvah. And maybe the nes Shosu Nisim is not a new thing anymore. Like we figured already there's a nes. Maybe Shosu Nisim should only be mentioned once. That's a question from Gemara. Nimoit nes. Nes should be removed because we said nes once. Like we got the picture already. Thank you. We got the message. And now we're starting the whole nes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. And says Gemara, no, that's not true. Nes kol yomi isei. No. The nes is there every day anew. Oh, the nes kol yomi isei. Every day there's a nes. In other words, the nes, as Rashi, was in the pach. Every time it likum in a pach. Every time, again and again, they lit from, there was a new nes, according to Pnei Yeshua. Remember? Oh, a new nes coming every night. So every time we say Shosu Nisim, it wasn't one continuous nes, it was a new nes every night. Mashenkin Shechianu, says Rashi, Shechianu l'tchilas man, Higianu. Shechianu b'kimenu v'gionu l'zman hazeh. It's about Chanukah. We arrived at Chanukah, Mazel Tov, we say Shechianu, and that's it. Second night, we don't have to say it. Although you should know that if you happen to light Chas v'Shalom, person at Oynes, and only lit the first time on the third or fourth night, then he makes Shechianu. Because for him, that's the beginning. He lights 3 candles, then he makes Shechianu. Because for him, that's the first. Yeah, my Mevorech. Now the question, which bracha does he make? Mevorech asher getshan b'mitzvot v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. The mitzvah is, the bracha is, Hashem sanctified us and told us to be madly, commanded us to light ner shel Chanukah. Frag the Gemara, vechen tzivanu. Where did Hashem tell us to do such a thing? Rashi says, halav doraisa, elam midivreim. It's not doraisa. When did Hashem say to do that? Hashem, Chachamim told us to do that, and we listen to Chachamim. But in the Torah, even if you look hard, you don't see Hashem commanding us to be madlik neros. Answers the Gemara. This is a very, very, very fundamental Gemara for Kol Torah Kula. First wide line of Avi Omar Miloi Sosu. Oh, it says in the Torah, right? Al pi Torah sherirucha loi tosur menodover sherigidocha yaminu smol. Do not deviate. Do not divert. Do not deviate from the words that they tell you, that Chazal tell you to the right or to the left. Whatever Chazal tell you, you have to do. So Hashem did not tell you to light Chanukah candles, but Hashem told you to listen to Chazal, who tell you to light the candles. So indirectly, it's a mitzvah d'oraisa. It's a shar kitshanu, Hashem kitshanu. True that it's mitzvah d'Rabbanon, and the Moshel Sofik d'Rabbanon l'kula, because Rabbanon themselves made this kula. Rabbanon themselves have their own gedorim. But Hashem told us to listen to Rabbanon. So you can say kitshanu mitzvah. So Rav Nechemia Omar, Rav Nechemia says a different pshat, a different source. Sh'al avicha v'yagedcha, zkenecha v'yamuloch. In Ha'azinu, famous pasuk, ask your father and you tell you, zkenecha v'yamuloch, ask the zkenim and they'll tell you what to do. So again here, the nice chiddush, look at the two things. Loi sosa is a loi taseh, sh'al avicha v'yagedcha is an aseh. So every time you have the Rabbanon, you have a loi taseh, loi sosu, and a mitzvah saseh, sh'al avicha. Not only have a mitzvah, you have a loi taseh and aseh. So many sweets, Baruch Hashem, So think about it, the Rabbanon is double. It's aseh and lo taseh. Meisiv Avamam. However, Avramam has a question. You're telling me now that really every Rabbanon has to have a bracha. Now let's challenge that. Avamam is going to challenge that. And he asks the following. Admai, what's Dmai? So Dmai basically is produce, fruit, vegetable, fruit even fruit, even grapes that are usually chayav d'oraisa. And the Dmai is something you bought from an Amoritz. Amoritz is not a completely secular person, it's a person who picks and chooses, He does the mitzvahs that he likes or that he's scared from, some people today. Bekitzer, so the Dmai, you bought it from a guy, you can imagine the kind of guy by the roadside, and b'd'Rabbanon, they said that you have to take Meiser. Although we're going to see later, and we saw in Daf Yud Gimel, Rov Amaretz Masrim, most Amaratzim would take Meiser, that's a 60%, but still Chazal were concerned and said it's a sofek, and Chazal imposed the new din, Dmai, b'd'Rabbanon, you have to take Meiser. Dmai is a combination of two words, Da-Mai. We don't know what to do with it. Da-Mai. Geves. Who knows what's with this? We don't know. We make a gzera. And look what it says about Dmai. A mitzvah midorabonon. Dmai is only midorabonon. Midoraisa, what would you say? That roiv is okay, right? Nevertheless, Rabbanon said you have to take meiser from Dmai. And look what it says. It says about Dmai. Me'arvin boy. Let's say somebody has Dmai and he did not take meiser. Although he didn't take meiser, he's not supposed to eat it. He's allowed to use it for eruv chatzeros and eruv tchumin. I don't have to explain again. Eruv chatzeros, yeah, the whole chotzer together. It's like one big house. Mishtatfin boy shituf mevuos. The same idea for the whole street. The whole street is one, but you should just realize if you have a nice chas v'shalom piece of bacon or cheeseburger, sure you can't use that. You can only use kosher food. So demai, even though not kosher, you're allowed to use it. You know why? That's for another reason. Because every person potentially is allowed to eat demai. Meaning, anim are allowed to eat demai. A person who feeds anim, he feeds poor people, is allowed to feed them demai. Because chachamim were not goyzer on the anim, poor people. You feed them, we encourage you to feed them without extra expenses. You can feed them demai without taking meiser. Every person can become an oni in a second, not only because of the wheel of fortune, because it can mafkir olden nechasim. The biggest usher in the world, whoever that is, I don't know, a Jewish one, yeah, can be mafkir olden nechasim and become oni. It's mentioned many times in Shas. So demai, since potentially is kosher for everybody, you can use it for religious purposes. And we go on. Umevarchin olav, you make on it of a bracha. Amoitz elach min oretz. Umezamnin olav, you make bracha achroina, birkas hamazon with the zimun. On treif things, you don't do that. Oh, now comes the main part. Umafrishin oisei orum. When you take the dmai, you're allowed to be mafresh dmai even when you're naked. What does that mean? It means that you don't have to make a bracha. Because you're not allowed to make a bracha when you're orum. Orum comes to say that even when you're naked, which means you can't make a bracha, even then you can do the hafrasha of the dmai. That is what? It's not chayv bracha. Usually, I don't know how much people here take Trumas U'Maasros, but when I grew up in Tel Aviv, I would make without bracha, but sometimes you get from a place where you know for sure they don't take Trumas U'Maasros. What do? You take Trumas U'Maasros with a bracha. Yeah? This dmai, because it's the Rabbanon, you don't have to make a bracha. Another one is what's ben hashmoshes. You know you're not allowed to take meiser on Shabbos, right? Ben hashmoshes, you're allowed to take meiser from the dmai because it's only the Rabbanon. On the Rabbanon we're not goyzer ben hashmoshes. The whole thing of not taking meiser is this for the Rabbanon. It's not what I'm going to test melachas. It looks like you're metakin. That's why it's like tikkun, creating a new kashrus here, allowing me to eat it. So ben hashmoshes on the Rabbanon they were mekel. Now, the main point, though, that we have to siphon out of the whole group is what? The fact that you don't need to make a bracha. Frag the Gemara. If you say that anything with the Rabbanon requires a bracha, over here, when he's naked, how can he be mevarich? How can he make a bracha? Lafresh trumas u'maisros, lafresh dmai. We require that when a person makes a bracha, the machane should be holy. You should be in a holy situation, not naked. It says, Lo ervas dovo. What's ervas dovo? Even dibur of kedusha shouldn't leave your mouth when you in front of an erva. You see a woman not sanua, you can't make a bracha. Or any dvar Torah, it's a big problem in chupes by the chilonim. It's a big problem with the rabbanim. They're trying to be nice and mekadosh the chilonim, but they're dressed very, very terribly under the chuppah. I'm not judging miskinim, so the brov has to find creative ways to make a bracha. Not pashut miskinim. So then, but this guy himself naked is also an iser. Bekitzer, you're telling me there's no bracha. How come there's no bracha? Why is there no bracha? Because it's the Rabbanon. He just told me Rabbanon does need a bracha. On Chanukah, Bekitzer, what's the difference between Chanukah and Demai? Why is it in Chanukah we stand there with all the kavunas and hidirim, and you say La'adlik Neshel Chanukah, and by Demai you don't make a bracha? They're both the Rabbanon. Amar Abaye, there's a Bayin Rava. Amar Abaye, Vade de Divrayim Bai Broche. Stofik de Divrayim Lo Bai Broche. Which means it's not the same level. Chanukah is a Vade de Divrayim. Chachamim woke up one morning, as we saw. I'm not joking, and they said Lashon Acheres. A year after Chanukah, they saw that the nace was significant, right? And they decided we're establishing a Yom Tov. That's a Vadai. They're not sure, maybe, and therefore we are in doubt, so let's be machmir. They invented the mitzvah. What is it? Hanukkah. Of course, we make a bracha. M'shenken Dmai, although Dmai midoraisa is a roiv, which by the way Abai is not so sure about. That's besides the point. The point is by Dmai, Chachamim decided, we decide not to know. That's a lomdus. We decide to treat that suffix, yeah, as trouble, as an issue, like suffix doraisa, and therefore you have to what? Take the trumas from miceless, the miceless, not the trumas. But the mice, it's a suffix. At the end of the day, maybe the Amoritz did take mice. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. It's very nice to say the lump. Maybe he did. If the Amoritz with the kippah that small, yeah, what did he do? He took meisters and making bracha levatala. So pashut. So misafek, you take another piece of state. Why not? Every time you buy something in Tel Aviv, you have to take what? Meister. It doesn't mean make a bracha. Don't risk the bracha. Very good. Okay, that's a good answer. Uh-oh. Rek the Gemore. Yom Tov Sheni, the Sofik, you guys from Chutznarts, you know the better than me. Yom Tov Sheni, the Sofik Divremhu, Ubai Brocha. Yom Tov Sheni is also a Sofik, because nowadays it's not, I agree, we know, but the original idea of Yom Tov Sheni is Misofik. People who are too far away from Eretz Yisrael, the Shluchim that told everybody about the new Chodesh did not reach past 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks after Chodesh Nisan is Seder. People live in the far, far side of Bavel in India didn't get the shluchim. They didn't know. We're based in Mekadesh. The Chodesh is today Pesach or tomorrow Pesach. It's a margin of 2 days. They would make on the extra, be extra safe. They would make an extra Yom Tov. The people there. But Lamaisa, you make Kiddush in the second day. Even I, Israeli, I also lived in Chutz La'aretz. You make Kiddush. I didn't, but you lived in Chutz La'aretz and you all did Kiddush second day. Why do you make Kiddush second day? It's tons of brachas levatala. Oh, this Kiddush business, sure, by night. What are you talking about? So wait a second. So something doesn't work right. You're telling me that if it's only a suffix, you don't make a bracha. Whether you do. Yom Tov Sheni, it's also a suffix. I'm not sure which day is Yom Tov. And Chachamim treat the suffix with respect, but you make a bracha. Why? So now what's the difference in Dmai and Yom Tov Sheni? They're both fakos. Why don't you make a bracha in Dmai? You do make a bracha in Yom Tov Sheni. Second day Shavuos and Chutz La'aretz to make a Kiddush very nice. Pesach Sukkos. Answers the Gemara. This is Abaye again. Chachamim have the right to do many, many things. Because people tend to be mezalzel in Yom Tov Sheni, I think till today there are people like that, yeah? Mezalzel Yom Tov, not to be mekatrig, no kitrig. But let's say because people are prone to be mezalzel in Yom Tov Sheni, so Chachamim even were willing to risk bracha levatala, and they said, yeah, we have to put our foot down, we have to make it, ironclad, clear, that this Yom Tov Sheni is not a joke, even to the point of making a kiddush. Now, imagine yourself a community in Chutz La'aretz. We're not the biggest tzaddikim of Lakewood or Gateshead. And Yom Tov Sheni, there's no kiddush. No kiddush. So it's not so chashuv. The rabbis. Maybe I can also drive my car because it's really important to go watch the movie. So where does it end? Yeah. So Mimei Chachamim made it very clear. Vashenkin by Dmai, there's less chashash. By Dmai, you take the Dmai, yeah, because Lamaisa, it's a suffix. Dmai there's less chashash of zilzul, and therefore, for whichever reason, I guess people not so mezalzel, and therefore there's no bracha. It's a suffix. Misafik, you don't make a bracha. That's Abaye. So again, let's establish again 3 mitzvahs. Chanukah for sure make a bracha. There are no stakes or maybes or not sure. It's a mitzvah. It's an addition. There are 7 mitzvahs derabanan. Adlokas neres, Chanukah, Purim, whatever, Eruvin, Teos Yadayim. Yeah, you have a mitzvah derabanan. It's a mitzvah. Make a bracha. Hashem told you. No question. When it comes to sfeikos, you don't make a bracha. So why do you make a Yom Tov Sheni? An exception to the exception. Yom Tov Sheni, Chachamim felt, here people are going to round corners. Let's make it very clear and make a bracha in the second. Make a kiddush. Now, that's Abaye. Rove, if you remember Daf Yud Gimel, Rove repeats what he said in Daf Yud Gimel. Rove me'otz masrin hen. Rove says what I told you before. It's not an equal suffix. It's not an equal suffix. Yom Tov Sheni is really 50-50. I live in India many years ago, and I really don't know if Beis Din were Mekadesh the Chodesh Aleph or Lamed, or whatever, Lamed or Aleph, whatever. And therefore, I don't know if Pesach is today or tomorrow. I have to make a bracha second day on the Kiddush. Mashe'enkin by Dmai, it's not an equal 50-50 suffix. Roy v'ma'atz masrin hen. Most Emiratzes, they really do take Meiser. Let's say 60%, maybe 70%, they take Meiser. And therefore, yeah, Masha'enken, here it's only a Chumra Be'alma, says Rashi. Wow. It's not even a regular D'Rabbanan, it's a Chumra D'Rabbanan. Rabbanan said about Dmai, to be on the extra safe side, we're choishish to the miut, so it's less than the suffix. The Chachamim were extra machmir, take meiser, even though halachically you follow the roiv. Bracha, no, not at kedekah. The whole establishment, and that's why Dmai really, my good friends, Dmai has many exceptions. You feed it to the soldiers, even Jewish soldiers, they say, oh, soldiers, come to your house from Gaza to wherever you live, yeah, to Ofakim, you give them Dmai, you give Dmai to Anim, Dmai, anyone can do all these mitzvahs with Dmai. Dmai has many pulas. Dmai, leave Dmai out of the question. The Sheikh and Chanukah, which is a mitzvah, or even the Yom Tov Sheni, which is regular equals, you make a bracha. You also make a bracha on Sofik, such as Sofik b'chutz la'aretz Yom Tov Sheni. The Mai is a far-fetched thing, so on that you don't make a bracha. That Friday didn't go. I'm sorry we didn't finish the Talmud, but it's a new Inyan. We'll leave that for tomorrow. It's a new Inyan and it's time. Okay. Atzlocho bracha. Thank you all for coming. I know it's very difficult for many people to come this time of night. So I appreciate your participation and thank you, Tzvi, for being with us from far away, from Chutz La'aretz. You keep Yom Tov Sheni. Atzlacha and Kol Tuv. May we all meet with Mashiach soon in Yerushalayim.